So it's a good thing that you have been able to try a couple of things, because the first thing to even trying to find a niche, because a niche is now saying that, you know what, I want to specialize in a particular area and I don't want to be everywhere. But for you to be able to say that I want to be in a particular place, it means that you must have been able to try your hands on at least a number of other genres of photography. The truth is that there are so many, and most times people don't actually explore enough or are patient with themselves to explore enough to be able to figure out, you know what, it's now time for me to do. So of course the first thing is, give yourself the permission to explore. And I think that permission is important, because sometimes we're in a hurry to find the one thing. We're not giving ourselves the allowance to that process and understanding that it takes a process. It's not an automatic thing that you see someone that feels like, okay, this person has already carved out a niche. Most of them, it took them a while to get there. So if you're just starting, just allow yourself to explore and enjoy that process of even just exploring and just finding self, because there is an excitement part of it. So first thing is, give yourself the permission to explore, try out new things, try your hands on different aspects. And while you're exploring, be mindful of what the act is doing to you, not necessarily what you are doing. Now you can be doing, in the doing you realize that in some of them you find a certain level of satisfaction that you don't find in the other ones. In some of them you find that, oh, you know what, I'm just interested, I just love people, I love the excitement that comes. It's not just about shooting it, I'm actually enjoying myself here. So that's the part of knowing, okay, what are the ones that you enjoy, and I'm knowing the ones that are just like, I'm good at this, but I don't really enjoy it. And saying you don't enjoy something doesn't mean that, oh, it's difficult, because the truth is that what you enjoy can also be difficult. But then again, because it fuels you, it's like, yes, it's hard, yes, I'm finding it tough, but when I'm done, there's a rush of energy that comes when I'm doing it. Those are signs to look out for, to say, you know what, there's something here that I really like. So I remember when I started photography and did a bit of street, I did weddings, and I did some portraits, I even did a little bit of fashion. But I knew that by the time I started shooting portraits, it was as though every single time I see someone, I just want to come closer to them and really capture their face and their personality. And I just found there was just something that was just interesting about that for me. I was genuinely interested in that. At that point, I didn't know that I was going to really go into portraits that much, but again, at least I was conscious enough to recognize that. So explore, while exploring, be intentional in observing the differences that come with each particular session, where you're finding the most satisfaction and where you're finding the most struggle. When you say something is your style, it means that it is you expressed in a body of work. So for you to be expressed in a body of work, you have to be very self-aware. You have to know who you are and the things that matter to you. The things that matter to you are cues to the areas that you would find the most satisfaction in. What are those things that you see that makes you feel uncomfortable? Maybe things that happen in the society, things that happen around people that just makes you feel uncomfortable, or that makes you feel like, why is this thing happening? Or it makes you feel like, oh, you know what, if I had a magic wand, I could just change this thing. To some people, it can be injustice. To some people, it's people telling the story of Africa in the wrong way. Or to some people, it's identity, people just not knowing themselves. To some people, it could be exploring the beauty of different things. It could be fashion, commercial, right? You're a sports lover or you're a car lover. Those kind of things, right? It doesn't look like, oh, this can connect to my genre. But the truth is that if you pay attention to yourself, if you're self-aware, you realize that most of these things we call style and niches, they're just an extension of who we are. Personally, for me, I am very drawn to people. I love seeing people because I was just so intrigued by the features of a human being. I never see anybody as not being beautiful. I'm just seeing someone, I'm like, wow, her eyes, oh wow, the hair, oh, the facial structure. Everyone is just beautiful in my eyes, and I'm just so in awe of God every time I look at someone. It's not a surprise that I am very drawn to portraits. I'm very drawn to helping people see themselves. Like, you're a work of art, let me help you see that. Start to think about, what are those things that when you were growing up that you love? What are those things that, people would say they're about you, that your natural tendencies? What are those things around you that cause you a lot of discomfort, that you feel like, I need to change this thing? What are those things that cause you pain? What are those things that make you wake up in the morning, right? Those things are cues to figuring out what is your niche and your own style. You know, style also speaks to the kind of lifestyle people have, kind of personality you have. If you're a simple person, it's obvious that you're not going to want too many complicated things. If you're someone that loves fashion, you love, this drama and all that, it will be expressed in your style. So everything, photography, arts, creativity is just an extension of who we are. So if you want to find your niche, become more self-aware, because it's from you that comes out from.